But the sense of what I'm talking about happiness, I'm talking about a sense of like, I reckon there's a problem like this, right? I think that there is no meaning to life. There is no objective meaning to life.
I mean, dude, but you're assuming this all boils down to the fact that you believe in God or no? I mean, that's all boils.
So I reckon my
belief
in God is like this, right? My belief in God is like, I believe that there
before you go on a different tangent, I want to finish your original thought, which is that you said there's no meaning to life.
Yeah.
Right? And is that because you believe there's no God, or do you believe?
I believe that there is no meaning to life, but I believe that actually it's connected. The two things are connected. I believe in something like this, right? Basically, I believe that there are four. I believe in four human problems. Okay. The first problem is that human beings, there's so much that we know about the universe, so much that we're learning, but there's so much that we don't know and so much that we'll never know. Okay. Right? The mystery of life is hard for us because humans are very curious by nature.
Yeah, definitely.
So the whole mystery of it is perplexing and difficult for us. Secondly, I believe that humans believe in things like morality and justice.
Yeah.
That if something bad happens to you, if you do something bad, you deserve for something bad to happen to you.
Yeah.
And we believe in stuff like that. But the universe, sometimes really unfortunate things happen to good people.
Yeah.
Sometimes really like great things happen to like people who have been shitty and stuff like that. That they get lucky and stuff.
Yeah.
And that contradicts our feelings of morality and stuff like that.
Sure.
The third problem is that we are going to die, and we know that we're going to die, and we can't stop ourselves from dying.
Okay.
And we're constantly plagued with the fear of dying.
Sure.
Alright? And the last point is that human beings, so I believe that the universe existed always, that it had no beginning and it has no end. But human beings are used to like a narrativization. They want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and like a lesson or an idea or a meaning to it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's a human feeling.
Yeah.
Okay? I believe that God is whatever thing answers those four questions. Anything that you have that like it solves those four problems, that's God. I think that I looked into all the major religions in the world, and the thing I found in common was that every religion tries to like satisfy these four problems. Those are the four areas that everybody's always looking at.
Yeah.
No,
right?
but I think those are the four areas that people need like comfort in, because those are like big questions that people have to like grapple with.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, since what answers those four questions is normally religion, not God.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that God is the. I don't think that's true. I think religion is a political framework for that, like, that takes a monopoly on God. But I think that God is the actual answer to those four questions.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it's like, but then it's kind of like synonymous in that. I mean, God is the same as religion in that. Okay, if you believe in God, then He's the one who asked you to follow this religion because you're going to come close to Him.
But
so it's kind of like synonymous in that sense. So
okay, but
it's the same thing. What you're saying.
No, but if you are like, say, you are in love, and that makes you not be afraid of dying, and that brings purpose into your life, if that makes you feel like life is fair and causality is okay, and whatever happens, you're ready for it. And if it makes you feel like...
No, okay, let's take it for a problem. Okay, what was the first problem? The
mystery.
Mystery. And, okay, so love in a way doesn't really answer that. It makes you not want to even approach the question because you're worried, you're just, all you think about is this girl.
Not just makes you not want to approach the question, but it makes you feel like the journey to attain that mystery is enough, and that if you don't know things, that you'll still content with what you know.
Yeah,
I don't just mean love for a person, right? I don't just mean that. You can be in love with like a general. You can be in love with like your craft. You can be in love with like that state of like.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, I know exactly. Okay, fine. So that's a love. I get it. But then at the same time, what you just said, you're just putting the question to rest. It's like you're accepting the fact that yes, we know of things about the universe. In the future, with the age of technology and things, we will know more. But at the same time, we will never know anything, right?
There's something
we'll know. So that's just kind of like putting the question at rest and say, you're accepting it for what it is. It's not really answering the question.
It's not putting it... No, but God does not answer the question either. Right? It's not based on investigation. It just gives you an answer for the question. but it's not the
Okay.
actual answer. You know what I mean? It satisfies your need for the answer.
Okay, fine.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When you
okay.
say God created the world, then it's like, oh, I guess we don't have to learn about creation anymore.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Fine.
It satisfies your need to answer.
Alright. What's the second question then?
The second question is like your fear of like. The second question is like your sense of justice, and like what people would call karma or whatever in your life.
Okay. So how does love satisfy that?
Because, dude, when you do that, like when you have the general sense of love, and even if you have the general sense of love in your like society, even when bad things happen, you feel like you can face it. It brings that sense into you. Whereas, like, religion answers the question by saying, if someone's shitty in this life, they'll get fucked up in the next life.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
go to hell, whatever.
Yeah, you gotta like you continue in the afterlife.
Okay.
But that one kind of makes you it makes you feel like whatever problem, you know, when people say like the love will get you through it, like it'll get you through hard times,
Yeah.
because when bad shit is happening, you still feel that like support to have like difficult things happen to you, but to have someone like love you, or to have difficult things happen to you but to have something you love at the same time, is a better feeling than to not have any problems happen to you and still feel unloved.
Okay.
That's the difficult thing. Like, that's the crazy thing about it.
But that's more like you're putting you as a central figure there. Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah!
I'm the shitty thing that happened to me.
Yeah!
But as opposed to, but then man, the thing about
I'm saying that you are the center of the universe.
no, but okay, then think about shit when obviously let's take recent examples, Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Like shitty things are happening to them,
Yeah.
and as an outsider looking in, you're finding ways to justify it. You're finding ways to figure out like what the fuck is happening to them.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
why
but I think a lot of
You
the
know, so-
process of what's happening outside is people trying to justify to themselves to continuously live the life they're leading currently, which doesn't actually solve any of the issues that they're being troubled with.
No, but wait, no, I don't understand. So, what were you saying about the Gaza thing exactly? What are you saying?
Who, me? Oh.
Yeah.
I was saying how you were saying how like so with this justice thing,
Yeah.
right? You were like, okay,
I'm not just saying justice only, but I'm saying like justice, right, wrong, morality.
all the other shit.
Things like that,
And then
yeah.
you were like,
Revenge.
and so you were like, okay, if bad shit is happening to me, if someone at the same, but if I still have the love and support of somebody,
Yeah.
or a bunch of people,
Yeah.
that feeling of acceptance of being loved or being whatever is better than having none of that and then no problems at all.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, okay, you're saying that shit's happening to me. I'm the one who's feeling that
Yeah.
injustice, or I'm the one who's feeling that, whatever that.
Unfortunate like
Unfortunate,
events. Yeah,
yeah.
sure, okay.
But in terms of like Gaza and shit, bad things are happening to other people,
Yeah.
and it's a general consensus that
Yeah.
Israel is a fucked up asshole, and that they're just brutally murdering and killing
Okay.
innocent people in
Okay.
Gaza.
Okay.
So in that sense, so he's speaking to my morality and justice, and I'm saying, okay, so Israel is clearly the bad guy here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening? How are they gonna? How is like the fact that I'm being loved,
Right.
and the fact that I have a good support system is not gonna help any of the people in Gaza,
Okay,
or like
so
solve
right.
any of that problem.
Okay.
So that's one of I was
So what I'm saying is that in this thing there's also two things to consider, right? One thing is like disasters that happen that are outside the control of like people, and the other thing is the disasters that happen that people are controlling.
Okay.
Right? So like you have like natural disasters,
Sure.
you have sicknesses and stuff like that are really outside of people's control.
Yeah.
Then you have people like killing other people.
Yeah.
Right? I think that if you are so say that now love is one of the examples I used, but say that your example is like okay, no, that's a bad way to go down this road. What I'm saying is like this. Say that like you are when I say it's the center of your universe, I'm
Yeah.
talking about whether you feel like this, like I'm saying that love becomes like your God, and then that soothes you and that makes you okay. I'm not saying that means that you shouldn't pursue social change. I'm like saying that I'm not saying that that's something that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to help other people.
Yeah, the thing is like normally when people talk about acceptance, it's not about like acceptance like accepting the situation and sitting back. It's more about accepting what is happening and then like looking towards that.
Yeah. But I don't think that affects your it shouldn't affect your direct sense of happiness.
No, but
I mean, but for me, when I think about this world and think about God, it's like God is not only. See, you're saying, okay, if there's a God, it's a very. like I agree. I first of all, let me say I think religion is a very personal thing, and that you have your own relationship with God. But the difference between you and me is that what I see, or rather, correct me if I'm wrong, is that I think that when I think about God, like He's, I think, in charge of everybody, all humans. You know, it's not only me He's in charge of. So if he has responsibility towards me, He has equal responsibility towards you and to you and everybody.
Oh, okay.
So in that sense, but at the same time, different things happen to different. And I'm not saying that because He has responsibility to each of everyone, that doesn't mean that everybody should have the same life. Everybody should be equal. No, not at all. What I'm saying is that certain things happen to people, and that's the way the world works. And everybody's different.
Oh, okay.
And so to explain the whole justice thing and this morality thing, right? The only way I explain to myself to make sense of bad things happening to good people, or rather good things happening to bad people, is that. So I believe in God, one God, and I believe there's a heaven, and maybe there's a hell too, right?
Okay.
So, and I do believe that the afterlife is kind of like what you are living this world for. That there is an afterlife, and that there is something better if you do good, and that's where I disagree with religion sometimes, because religion says you have to do this in order for you to have a better afterlife.
Okay.
But my view is like, okay, maybe not this, but maybe that. You know what I mean? So I have my own version of what I need to do in order for me to achieve that better afterlife. And that includes being a good person, you know, not being a fucking asshole, and not necessarily like praying like certain times a day, or not drinking alcohol.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
So in that sense, when I think about bad things happening to good people, I'm saying God is just taking them earlier than
to the heaven. Okay.
Than keeping everybody else. See, for us, this is all we know right now, right? So it's like staying in this world is more shitty. I think we can't comprehend that yet. But I feel like after we die, we understand that staying in this world is what, you know, is not as good as what comes after.
Right.
And so when good things happen to bad people, that's just prolonging their life in this country.
In this world.
In this world.
Right.
You know? And so at that time, they might think, okay, this is good and this is happening.
Right.
But they maybe after they die and understand, have a grander picture of what's actually the case, they might realize that. Not
right. So the difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying is like something like this, right? You are essentially saying that God is something that is a being of some form. Is like a thing, right? Is a thing or a person or a being.
Whatever.
Right. That has power to control certain events. Right.
Not necessarily control,
but at least manages heaven or manages anything in heaven or something like that, right? I'm saying that God is something that you do. I'm saying God is more like a feeling. I'm saying God is more like a state of mind. I'm saying that when you do certain things, you attain, you channel into the God frequency for a period of time, and it's not permanent. You can become disconnected with God again, but then you can reconnect with God. I'm saying something like that. Like God is when you are channeled into the God frequency, these 4 questions go like kind of silent, and they become like satisfied. But then you can break from the God frequency, and then like God can.
So what do you think happens to you when you die? Is it nothing? Do you believe in an afterlife, or do you just say, okay, that's it? You know, this is it. That's it. There's no soul per se.
Well,
I mean, what do you think? Do you think there's an afterlife?
No, I think it. Yes, in the sense that I don't think you die when your body dies. Okay. But the thing is that I don't think that actually, even if you look at Islam, there is something like it says. I just found this yesterday. But basically, the eye in which you die is the eye in which you're most perceptive, and the reason your eyes glaze is because they start looking with perception you never had before. Mm-hmm. And so in that, and for example, if you've watched Jacob's Ladder, you've watched Jacob's Ladder, there's an awesome quote.
What is Jacob's Ladder?
Jacob's Ladder is a movie about this Vietnam War vet. I won't ruin the movie. It's epic. Okay. But basically, during the course, he's having to deal with dying and his eventual death. And one of the quotes in the movie is something along the lines of, if you look at your life as something precious, then death is going to be a struggle because you're trying to hold on to it. And whatever your the act of moving away from it will be painful.
Yeah.
And if you just realize you're just in a transitory state and no state that you've been has been fixed, your whole life has been a journey from one moment to the next.
Yeah.
And so if
Get
you
to
realize
just
that the
next
moment
stop,
you're
yeah.
in is again another movement,
Yeah.
then you can let go, and that's how you achieve like a decent death.
Yeah.
And so like the whole struggle of heaven and hell, I think, is in that moment of when
Being willing to let go.
yeah.
The transcending.
So I mean, okay.
I believe in something like this, right? I believe in something like, I don't necessarily believe that consciousness is something that your brain is creating. Like, I think that consciousness might be, like, there's a lot of theories that say consciousness might be like something that exists in another dimension, and your brain is like pulling it in like an antenna or something like that. But what I believe is that, like, we are all part of one thing, but it's like manifesting in different like incantations. Like, it's like some of us are manifesting as a table, and some of us are manifesting as a human, and some of us are manifesting as a rock, and some of us are manifesting as a sun. And I think that when you die, you will dissolve and continue to be manifested in different forms. You'll be eaten by a worm, and you'll be manifesting as a worm's like dinner. You'll be moving on, like you'll be like consumed by a tree, and you'll manifest as a tree.
That's pretty trippy, man. Like, honestly, I mean, for me, like, it's with death. Partly why I believe there's going to be an afterlife or whatever is, honestly, it's because, man, it's optimistic to believe like that, dude. Because I refuse to. I mean, I'm scared, man. It's like I'm scared that when you die, that's it. I refuse to believe that. I can't live my life thinking that when I die, that's going to be it. I wanna believe that there has to be something more than this, and otherwise it's very difficult for me to kind of do things or accept things. Anyway, I have to fucking go, man. But listen, I'm gonna end with answering your 4 questions.
Yeah.
With my idea of God. I feel that's a good end this.
No, but I don't think that doesn't make sense, though, because my idea of God is that God is an answer to the 4 questions. So if your idea of God is different, then it can't be an answer.
No, but you
to
said there's
questions.
4 human problems, right? And I agree with those human problems.
Are you saying that your idea of God also answers the 4 human problems?
I'm saying if your idea to explain all of this is you have 4 human problems.
Yeah.
And like there's something that's gonna.
Yeah, to be clear, what I found is that when I looked at all different like religions and all different spiritual beliefs, I found that all the different beliefs were trying to answer these 4 questions.
I mean, the general ideologies around this. Exactly, and I agree with
I
that.
consider that those are the 4 problems that every kind of spiritual teaching is trying to solve these 4
because
problems.
it's not like, see, that people say, oh, that's like, you have a set life, everything is fucking gonna happen the way God planned it to be, and you can't. And I think that's bullshit. Because I think humans are like, we have the ability to think, we have the ability to do things, we have the ability to make choices, So I think that at any given time, if I made a different choice, my life will go a different way. And I think it's like each person's life is like a tree. You go up the tree and you decide which branch you want to go on next, And then you go, and then your aim is to get to the top, but like you can go to the top using different ways, And like those choices you make along the way will determine like the pathway and like how you do in life.
But the tree is a weird metaphor because the tree has both branches.
Yeah, okay, maybe trees are fucked up. Well, you get what I'm trying to fucking say, right? Like,
I would say it's like a vine. Like human life is like a vine.
Yeah. It's like you have a set. You have your life. That you have opportunities, circumstances, and then within that you have choices to make, and depending on what choices you make.
Okay.
And then based on that, so you can either be like let's just for simplicity say, let's say God made the exact same person, and like he has the exact same fucking opportunities and circumstances. One could be like a horrible murderer, one could be a fucking saint, and like
that's a weird thing to say.
And like it's just based on like what I feel like those choices that were made, those circumstances that they were put into. Like,
I think 2 exact people in the exact same circumstances would make the exact same choices.
No.
2 of the exact same people in the exact same
circumstances. Depends on the circumstances that they faced before.
Yeah,
I'm saying the 2 exact same people who have faced the exact same set of circumstances.
I know what you mean. But let me tell you this. The reason why I say no is because yes, you might be the exact same person, but there's a circle of people around you that influence you.
I'm saying that's also a circumstance, though. Yeah. Your circle of people are also a circumstance.
Yeah, but then okay, for example, your parents, like say you and I are the exact same person, right? But then your parents might be.
Your parents also a circumstance.
No, I know, but like your parents might be different to the way my
So
parents.
But that's a different circumstance.
But that's their own. My parent, your parents and my parents have their own lifestyle.
Because their circumstances have been different.
For there to be exact circumstances, everything has to be the same.
Yeah. No, I believe in like.
Maybe you're thinking too much into what I said.
No, what I'm saying is like okay.
I'm just saying people can make choices.
Okay.
And that could determine like how they go in life.
Okay.
That's basically what.
Okay, so your choices determine how you go in life.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Go from there.
Yeah, and then so your 4 problems. Like basically, the first one was so I answered your justice one. Okay.
What's it just? Is like God is going to take you earlier.
Yeah, it's like if you go earlier, like the way to explain to yourself,
okay,
like, you're just in a better place.
Okay,
then that's good for you.
Okay.
The first one was about what was it again? It was fucking like
there are many mysteries that you can't learning. Some things you can't explain.
Yeah, and I feel like when you die and then go to heaven or wherever it is, I think
everything will be explained.
Everything will be explained.
Okay.
The third one was to do with death, right? Like the fact that you're going to die. Yeah, the fact that you're going to die, and
you know that you're going to die.
You know you will die, and then I think that also deals with
afterlife.
The afterlife, and like having a better afterlife.
Yeah.
And so this, that basically that
okay.
That whole
okay.
Thing. And last one was, what was it?
Last one was the fact that we need to have a beginning, middle, and end, and we need to feel a sense of meaning in our lives.
Yeah.
Like we always want to have meanings in things. Humans are like that. We like meanings.
See, I agree with
purposes.
you. I agree with you when you said like the universe always existed. I don't think like the Big Bang, for example. Like I don't think that should happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens.
I don't think there's a point of creation.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a point of destruction.
Yeah. So I don't think definitely agree with you. I don't think there's an end, start, beginning, and end. I think it always existed. And I think maybe there were different worlds out there at some point. Like this is just a state of this. Time in this period is just this period in this universe, whatever. But that also is like something that you can once you die and go into afterlife, like that's your eternity. Like, that's pretty much forever.
No. The last point is about meaning. What about your need to have your life have a sense of meaning and purpose? You need for your life to have a sense of purpose. Humans always searching for a sense of purpose.
Yeah, and their purpose is to achieve that better afterlife,
But then your purpose becomes to die.
Not necessarily to die.
To die well.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
To die well.
Everybody's going to die, so it's not your purpose to die, but it's like what you do before that,
right?
So that you can have a better afterlife or more.
I suppose.
Or a more better eternity.
So my only issue with that whole way of thinking is that I have no reason to believe that it's true. Except that I would like for it to be true.
Yeah.
I think that there is no reason to believe that such a thing is true, except that would be nice if it was true.
Fair point. Definitely. And I can tell right now that I cannot argue with that because I cannot say, oh, here, this is God in my hand right now, Like, obviously it's something that's unseen.
However, with my thing, you can feel it. If you believe that God is a state of like awareness or God is a tuning into certain frequency.
I can feel God too sometimes. There are certain things that happen in my life. I'm like, holy shit! Like that, it cannot be by chance that this just happened.
Like what? Like serendipity. That's what you're saying. You're saying that serendipity is an act of God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like certain things, like certain. Like,
but then the
example,
problem
like
with that is that the problem with that is that if that is true, the opposite also has to be true. If the serendipity is an act of God, then great misfortune should also be an act of God.
I think it's a combination of both. I think
so. God,
I think
hurts you and gives you blessings.
No, I think you are supposed to live your life the way you should. Not the way you should though. You have your mind to think, to act in a certain way. Okay. So and you have a certain personality. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
But at the same time, you have God watching over and giving you a hand.
So it's like a thing in the sky, like watching you.
Well, not a thing in the sky.
A thing in another dimension.
Whatever. I'm not going to explain that because I don't know what that is.
Right, but it's watching you.
It's like
it's actively
because
involved.
throughout the course of your life, you're going to do good things, right? And so these little things that you do are like things like it's not like you do all of this and you're going to be rewarded at the end.
Right.
You do these things and you're getting rewarded little by little, and ultimately you also get a final the ultimate reward at the end when you die. But also
so you believe that as you do good things, you get blessings.
you get blessings along the way.
So when bad things happen, that's a curse for you doing bad things.
I think yes, but I think that's a very I don't want to
Yeah,
argue with you
but
that because that's a very subjective thing. That's a very subjective thing.
That is true in the same way that sometimes when good things happen when you don't deserve it.
No, but that's the opposite of what he's saying.
No. But there is the aspect that when you do good things happen. But also there's a small aspect of good things happening. That you just receive.
It's also a test. You know?
So good things happen because you do good, but good things happen also because you not because you did good.
No. Let me explain.
That's a confusing thing.
Let me explain. It's like God tests you. It's like He gives you certain things to test you.
So when bad things happen, it's a test, and when good things happen, it's a blessing.
No, I'm not. You're basically saying it's black or white, man. It's not black or white.
No, I'm saying that you're saying it's black or white.
No. The key is both are tests.
Good things are also a test.
So
God is always testing you for the next life.
It's like when you, for example, like if you win the lottery, for example.
Yes.
You know, I mean, most people will think, oh, that's a good thing that just happened to this person. He just want to shit all the fucking money. You know.
Okay.
Now, what do you do with that money?
So that's a test.
So that's a test. It's like God said, okay, I'm going to give you this money. What are you going to do with it? And then if you end up fucking your life up, like most people who win the lottery do, basically you fail the test.
Right.
If you do good with it, you know, if you invest it in the correct way, if you give a little bit of charity to people, you know, if you help people with that money, that's a good thing that you did with the money that came to you, and that's a blessing in itself, and that will lead to bigger and better things.
But then is it that your actions have led to bigger or better things, or is it that like you've done a good thing and therefore God is blessing you with bigger and better things?
Yeah, and that those bigger and better things are not necessarily monetarily, but I'm saying in terms of
no, but are those blessings coming from God, or those blessings coming as a result of your actions?
It's those are one and the same thing. It's like doing, for example, it's like
how is it the same thing?
Because if I like give charity, for example, like if I feel really good about it, right? Like say that's a human reaction. It's like, oh, if I give some money to an organization, or if
you feel good about it.
I feel good. Oh, I've done something good. I'm helping people.
Okay.
So that's a blessing. At the same time, it's like, okay, God gave me this money in order to give to this person. So He's giving me that blessing in order to help me get that blessing. For example, like
He's giving you a blessing to get another blessing.
Yeah, He's like giving me.
He's empowering you to get another blessing.
He's empowering me to do certain things. So like it's like, okay, at the same time, the benefit that I get out of it is that I feel good.
Okay,
about doing something good for somebody else. So at the same time, God is allowed, since He empowered me to do that, and I did it.
Okay, like
that's a blessing. That's like one good. That's like plus one for me.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but the problem with this is that it is purely like you cannot. It has no existence or argument beyond a purely retrospective validation. Right. That means that every time something happens, you can you look at what has happened and you frame God in a different way so as to like match the circumstance. It's purely retrospective, right?
No, not necessarily.
No, it is, right? Because it's like if a good thing happens, then that is God giving you a blessing, which is also a test. If a bad thing happens, that is also God giving you a bad thing, which is also a test.
No, but the thing is also like, I suppose if you're going under the same logic, it would be like the bad thing also could like be a blessing in the sense that it will cultivate a certain perception of you, a certain understanding.
Right. But the idea that like, but after the thing is happening,
with the money though, winning the lottery, it's not necessarily, that's not a blessing, that's a test. It's not a blessing.
It's a blessing and a test, right?
No, it's not. It's like the fact that
it's only a test.
It's only a test, and that what you do with it will lead to certain things that you may feel about yourself. Like say, like you've been struggling with certain things, you know. Maybe like what you do with that money might help you answer those questions for yourself. And the fact that you gave money away, for example, is a blessing in plus one.
At one point is okay. So based on your actions, you get but a plus one is different from an earthly blessing. It's two different things you're talking about. A plus one in your book is different from being blessed on earth, as in your circumstances are conspiring in such a way as to give you.
I'm saying as human beings we deal with problems, you know, like feelings and like thoughts and all this shit. Like it could be a variety of different things. And so when I say it's not really a blessing on earth. When you say earth, that's not what I meant. I meant like it might lead to something that helps you answer certain questions about what you feel.
And then that's a blessing.
And then. No, those are two positives that come out of it.
No, my only issue, dude, is like you think about what you're doing right here, right? Like when whatever circumstance is happening, right? You are crafting like a role for God to play in the circumstance based on how you feel about the circumstance. it's a purely retroactive definition of the role that God played in the circumstance. Once the circumstance is already played out, then you place the parts that are important for you into the story, and you place the parts of God also into the story.
No, not necessarily, because you're doing this in the event, hoping that, you know. So okay, let's go back to the whole idea of you getting a whole bunch of money and you donating it, for example.
Okay.
Let's say you win a lottery.
Okay.
And you give charity. Right?
Yes.
So say you were dealing with problems prior to this, say with like being happy or being content or whatever it may be, you know. So say you get the money, that's a test from God. Okay. Now you have this whole bunch of money. What do you do with it? You splurge it all on fucking strippers and hookers and booze and drugs and waste all of it, and not help anybody in this world, or you do good with it. You give it charity. You know, you help. You build a cause and you fund it, whatever. So doing the cause, the charity part of it, is a +1 in your book. At the same time, it helps you become content and happy and blah blah blah, because. So that's what I'm saying. So
and what is that you becoming content or whatever? Is that a blessing?
No, that's just having a better state of existence in your life.
What did God do in this scenario?
He enabled you to win that money or whatever it is, financial.
And when he did that was a blessing or a test?
That was a test.
And then?
And then so say you did good and you passed the test. That enabled you to live a better life and be content with certain other things and like.
Which is a blessing.
Which is a blessing for yourself.
So then you win the lottery, you get the money, you take the money, you give it to a charity. The head of the charity turns out to be like someone that you really trusted, but you shouldn't trust them with their money. They steal all the money and they run away and go and live in the Cayman Islands or some shit like that. What is that? What happened there? That is an equally likely scenario as the scenario of you winning the lottery. Like there's more like charity fraud than like lottery winners.
No, sure. I mean,
So what did God do there?
I don't know, man. I can't. Maybe it's like it all depends on what you did with it. I think you did the right thing, or you did what you felt was right, or you didn't just splurge it. You
gave it to charity, right?
You made things happen with it that you thought would be good.
So but the person taking the money and going, that was God, or that was the person?
That was God giving him a test. So from the eyes of the charity, it's like, okay, I'm the head of this charity, I'm doing a good thing here. I just got a shitload of money to help the charity. So that's a test for him. And what do you do with it? He makes a wrong decision and fucking decides to say hell with it and fucks off. So
the test was, your actions were a test for him.
Maybe, dude. Yeah. Maybe.
And then
and
then he takes it and goes, that's a blessing or a curse?
That's a test that God gave him, and he clearly failed the test by deciding.
But what is it to you?
What do you mean? What is it?
Were you blessed or were you cursed? Somebody took all your money and ran away.
You again tested.
You were again tested.
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever something happens, like it could.
See, you're thinking. See, the way you're thinking about it, it's like, okay, you have one test and you have a result. That's it.
I'm not thinking about it like that at all. I'm not thinking about it like that at all.
The series,
what I'm saying is like this. No. What I'm saying is like this, right? Is that you look at all the events that are happening in your life, right? And then you are creating like a narrative, and you're saying in this part God was testing, in this part God was blessing, in this part God was testing this other person.
But then everything is everything is retroactive. If you look at the past, right? Obviously, shit happens to you in the present. You make choices then and there, and then those.
It's not the same as like when something is happening in the present and you feel it in the present and you know that it's true in the present, and it's not like a story that you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
For example,
you do things so that in the future.
Let me give you an example, right? For example, when you meditate, if you go into a high, deep like sense of meditation, right, and you feel your that state where like your mind has kind of like left you and your mind is kind of quiet and it's not experiencing anything. Okay, that is happening right then and right there, and you are feeling it. It does not require like a retroactive explanation.
Yeah, you're right. Now I know what you mean when you said the retroactive. Yeah, I did. Like you do things. I mean that pretty much is on par with the whole idea of like dying and living in the afterlife.
And in this sense, in the definition of God that you are giving, there is no difference between God and like in the idea of God that you're giving. You are creating God. In the sense that there's no difference between God existing and you creating him. Because they're both two different stories that you're telling about like your past. So as you're telling the story about the physical events that are taking place, you're also inserting the things that happen on a metaphysical level, and your metaphysical narrative becomes the role of God in the story. Right? So you have the physical narrative that actually happened.
Yeah.
Then you have the metaphysical narrative of the forces behind what actually happened and the feelings behind what actually happened.
Yeah, but the part that you're missing there
and
is
your
that,
metaphysical narrative is God.
Yeah. But the part that you're missing there is that when you're assuming that the forces behind it, it's not like the forces behind it are controlling it. They're just providing the parameters for what you are supposed to do. And in that parameter, it's up to you what you do.
That's just two different ways of describing what the role that God played in the events. It's two different ways of describing it. One is that it's controlling. One is that he's providing things for you to do. So
he's not controlling.
Right,
he's controlling the parameter. So like I said,
he's controlling
he's controlling the parameters.
The degree to which you are in control, the degree to which God is in control, the degree to which you are influencing events, and the degree to which God is influencing events. The reasons and the results of the events that you control, the reasons and the results of the events that God controls, are all parts of a narrative that you are telling yourself. It may be true, or it may be false. Okay, what I'm saying is that this, right?
No, I know what you're saying. You're saying that the actual scene that happens, the physical idea of like physical strain of events, and then you have the metaphysical strain of events, which is pretty much the forces behind what's happening.
Yes.
But then what I'm saying is, okay, yeah, those forces are not controlling what you do, but they're providing just the general. Basically like it's like a fucking movie. It's like you're setting the scene
But
setting the scene.
I think most people, they try and focus on God being very like a control freak, rather than when the fact is that, in a sense, like if you look at sort of like a creator-creation sort of relationship, it's not necessary that God created your exact moment here. By crafting everything else around it, but the initial seeds being laid, and this being the result of the process, the entire process.
Yeah, it's like the
not just your decisions, but like
from the time you were fucking born, from the time you were fucking born to now, everything has been like cultivated in a certain way, and that's just
right. But I'm saying that exact certain way, right? Their degree to the meanings, the role that God played in those events in setting them up, the role that you played in those events by making choices, that exact certain like level of influence, degree of influencing, degree of not influencing, the level that your actions influenced it and didn't influence it, all of that is being assigned by you. You are assigning all of the degrees of influence into the causal narrative.
Yeah. You are saying that the fact that I am explaining to myself that the fact that
if something is a test, you are saying this was a test.
Yeah.
This is God testing me.
Yeah.
But that's you saying this is God testing me.
Yes.
Right? You are creating that narrative of God. You're creating the God narrative.
Yes. Well, I'm not really. Yes.
Yeah. You're the point of God narrative origination.
Yes.
In your universe, in your personal universe.
In my personal universe, like. If I were to, I would say that but that's a retroactive thing that I'm thinking about. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like it's still a retroactive thing because you're in the future looking back in the past.
No, but
it's not something in the present where you can say, oh, I'm in the present. I know this is a test happening right now.
So I think that's fine, right? That way of understanding God is totally cool, and I think that's like something that works for a lot of people. Like that helps them to deal with issues, deal with events and stuff in a more positive way.
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
For me, I want to feel something. Okay, cool. Okay, but I'm just saying I wanna feel something.
Yeah.
I want it to be something that I could feel, and then I want to make sense of the feeling, as opposed to weave the narrative. I want it to feel like something.
And that's something. The feeling, yes, definitely. But the only thing I could say to that is, like I said, like there are certain things that happened in my life that I feel like, oh, okay, shit, that just couldn't just have happened because of cause and effect or, luck of me being that's nothing. It's like, there's definitely some sort of divine intervention there.
When I talk about the morality thing, that particular one of the 4 issues, that is, I think, is one of the problems. Is that incredible misfortune is difficult for human beings.
Yeah.
Incredible fortune is also very difficult for human beings.
Yeah, it's
we can't handle being incredibly fortunate in the same way that we can't handle being incredibly.
There's always a fucking balance in with everything.